Okay, so this is the Informatics Europe session, the slot during ECSS where we present the activity during the year, what we have done, and we ask you, members and prospective members, what we can do more. So we start our goal. We want to be the voice of informatics education and research in Europe. So we want to be able to speak with a single voice, which is difficult, and even in your national country, it may be difficult to speak with a single voice. So imagine how it can be difficult to do it in Europe. So the more we are, the more people is actually working on Informatics Europe, not in the office, but as a member of the board, as people participating to activity, the more we will be able to do. Okay. So this is the agenda. It is a bit more articulated than these just 2 points, but we can start by describing who we are, and this will be Nuria. Okay, let me formally introduce you to people that have not yet known. Nuria is our new executive director. She joined us in March, and she was faced with an easy situation to substitute the president executive director that managed Informatics Europe for 10 years with a team that was completely changed because of other problems, and had to manage in hybrid ECSS, and so she's still alive. And she did a wonderful job, so I would like to ask you an applause for her, because actually she did a lot. Okay. So.
Oops. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you first all for coming, because yeah, as Enrico said, organizing this was a bit of a challenge. So the best thank you can give the office and me and the rest of the board is to be here and to be with us next year as well, and the other. So thank you for being here. You saw the agenda. It's, as Enrico said, super simple: who we are and what do we do. And by who we are, I would like first to introduce you what I think it's the pillar of the organization. And this is only you. You are the pillar of the organization. Why? Because many of you, I mean all of you, are affiliated with members of Informatics Europe. Some of these members are the ones who in 2005 decided to join forces and to build an organization because they believed that together you are stronger, because they believe that there are things that you cannot achieve by yourself in your institution, and that there are common themes to be worked on together. So you are the ones who started this organization, and you are the ones who built what we are, which is the voice of the European computer science community. So Informatics Europe, it's nothing else and nothing more than that. The voice of you, of the European computer science community. Today, we're 160 members. So from this group of institutions that in 2005, after a similar summit to this one, decided to build the organization, we have evolved. Enrico talked about the many years that the organization exists. Today, we're 160 institutions, so departments, faculties, schools, institutes, and research labs, both from public and from the private sector. And important, you are from 34 countries, and this is the big strength. It's not your own university, it's not your own research lab, it's 160 institutions that are working, hopefully, in the same direction. Because you have common topics that are of interest to you, common issues, common things you want to promote. Promote also at the European level, meaning promoting policies that you believe in. From the office, we're working, from the office and together with the board, we're working on making this number bigger. But again, I go back to the previous slide where I said, Informatics Europe is you, so you can also help us in making this organization bigger, because it's in your own interest. Here you have the faces of the board of directors of Informatics Europe. These are the different, in this case, they are all professors, of different institutions, affiliated with different institutions who are members of Informatics Europe. Some of you in the room have been in the board before. Some of you, hopefully, will in the future be in the board of Informatics Europe. All these people are volunteers. They have decided to dedicate a part of their time, of their expertise, to work on a common cause, to work for you. Again, for the European computer science community, which is you. I'm not gonna present all of them. First, because you know most of them. I hope by tomorrow, all of them, because that's why we're here, so we get to know each other. And also because they will come on stage, some of them. Somehow they didn't want me to show my super team. And I think you've seen our super team. You've seen that it's a super, not only a team, but that it's super. You've seen Gabinete and Kitban running around and taking care of the Q&A and the virtual part. They are part of our office. Svetlana is at home, but also supporting us with the virtual part. So what you see on screen, it's the office of Informatics Europe. But I would like to highlight what Enrico just said. I mean, we are the administrators, the coordinators. We take care of the management of the organization. Gabinete is mainly in charge of finances, of membership. She's also the cost action grant holder manager of EUGAIN. You'll hear a bit more about EUGAIN in a minute. Kitban mainly in charge of communications and administration. Svetlana is our master in web and technical things, so also it's the face for you for this data portal that I've heard several times these 2 days. It's something you value a lot, so it's a big part of it, it's because of Svetlana, and me, as Enrico said, yeah, I'm the director since basically April. So we are here to help you. We're here to bring in ideas that we can pass to the board. The board and you are the ones shaping the content, driving the agenda of informatics in Europe. We are here to support you. Please do it. Please contact us. We're always happy to have interaction with our members and with our potential new members. With this, I give the word back to Enrico, who will explain you what we are doing. I hope by now you know who we are.
Now we start the second part, what we do. Okay, so it's something that maybe you know, but it's worthwhile to repeat. We represent the research community, and we start from research because research is where higher education starts. This is what differentiates university from school. In university, we teach what is at forefront of the knowledge because we do research in it. Therefore, we are representing the research community in informatics. And we want informatics to grow in Europe, both in terms of higher education and in research. And in these last 2 years, everybody started grasping the fact that digital technology is vital for a society. They only grasp the importance. They do not really understand what to do because they, because informatics is a new subject, not not everybody really understand it in the general public and in politicians. And one of our mission is to let people understand what informatics is beyond the communication hype of coding or digital skills or other trendy issue like artificial intelligence and so on. You know that in technology there are this wave of trendy topic that comes and go away, and but informatics as a science is always there. So hopefully this time we are in a better position to let people understand what informatics is. And as Informatics Europe, this is one of our mission, to be able to speak with a single voice. And in the last point, education and research are the two legs on which we work, but also knowledge transfer and social impact, because education and research in some sense is inward-looking, while knowledge transfer towards industry and society and social impact are outward-looking actions. And particularly the last one, social impact, is becoming more and more important, as you have seen in the discussion of yesterday and today, and in the many things we do in this area. So whichever of this topic you like, please contact us to bring your contribution, because again, we can only do what you can do. The association can only do what you can do. And we don't need just ideas, because ideas are easy. What we need is people wanting to implement ideas. Okay, so I partly covered this one. I only touch again the second and the third point, because this issue of explaining to society what informatics is really the key point. I mean, I have been involved with Michael and other colleagues in informatics education in Europe, and we are spending years of trying to explain what informatics education is and how this should be tackled. And they are at European level. They are starting to understand this, but it's a long problem, because I mean, this science arrived all at once in our society. If you compare our disciplines with the other scientific disciplines, every other one have had decades to be known, or centuries to be known, to be experimented with. If you think to the world 40 years ago, informatics was a very restricted subject, only for the few of us that were nerds and liked to play with technology. Now, every person has a smartphone, is connected in social networks, so is everywhere, but no one of these persons understands what informatics is. So the engagement with society is highly important. So our specific goals are this one, and to work forward these goals, we have an organization that is structured in high-level activities, some of which will be presented here now, and each one of these focused activities will be presented by the person in the board that is overseeing and coordinating and driving it. Because again, Informatics Europe is not the office or the president. Informatics Europe is the board member that voluntarily dedicate some hours every week to work with us, current board members, with I thank, past board members, with I thank, and future board members. And so also please have in mind the people that are maybe new to our assembly, to our meetings. Please consider being a board member. It means working for free. I understand this, but I mean, we are here in science, so we are not really like to make a huge amount of money. Otherwise, we would have been in industry, not in university. And I personally, I trust in the importance of cooperation and collaboration. So doing something for free for the community will return you back multiplied in the future. So I now give the floor to Michael Kaspersen, and each one of my colleagues will present the next one that will speak about education. So Michael, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Enrico. Good afternoon, everybody. It's my privilege to talk about our efforts within education, so let me start on that. We have a lot of things that we do. We have prioritized to mention 3 things here, where we work with informatics education across Europe at all school levels, and that work is based on 3 pillars. One is what we call the Informatics for All Coalition. The coalition is a collaboration among 4 organizations. One is Informatics Europe, of course. The other 3 are ACM Europe Council, the CEPIS, Council of European Professional Informatics Societies, and IFIP, International Federation of Information Processing. You can read more about Informatics for All at the website for Informatics for All. Just Google it and you will find it. We also emphasize to have a prestigious, in Europe, international informatics education conference, and for that we collaborate since 2018 with the special interest group of ACM called SIGSI to orchestrate, strategically develop the ETICSI conference, which is a conference that has been running in Europe since 1996, so for more than 25 years. This is now in cooperation with ACM Europe Council and also Informatics Europe. And then we're promoting informatics education research as a first-class citizen in informatics departments at European universities. Let me just give you a brief overview of some of the things that we have worked with for the past 10 years or so. So since the working group on education was established in 2011, the first thing was, apart from establishing the working group, was to establish also the Education Award, where you had the opportunity to see this year's award being delivered in the previous session of the conference here, but also a report that sort of started the work on pushing for informatics as a general subject in school in Europe. There was a report published in 2013 called Informatics Education, Europe Cannot Afford to Miss the Boat. Following that, we established in collaboration with ACM, a committee on European computing education, which did some work. Major part of that work was to map the situation of informatics education in school across Europe. That is accessible both on a website and also as a report. And since 2018, we have concentrated our efforts on this agenda in the Informatics for All Coalition, and we have published a report. We have presented that in Brussels with the European Commission. We have worked with national associations and volunteers, people interested in the subject of informatics for all across Europe to arrange workshops, both physical workshops when that was a possibility, and also virtual workshops, the physical ones in Brussels, and we are expecting to have another one in 2022. Currently, we focus our efforts on developing an informatics curriculum framework. I will come back to that in a few seconds. So these are some of the achievements, but only some past achievements. There is also a non-achievement I would like to mention, because we made an application for a EU cost action network on informatics education, which we unfortunately did not succeed with, but we are planning to emphasize to build that network irregardless of having the funding from the EU cost action organization. So our targets are for the near future, for the end of this year and 2022, is, again, we emphasized 3 things here. One is to develop this informatics curriculum framework for school. We are in the process of doing that. We have a first version which has been out for evaluation and feedback from the community. We are also working on mapping the informatics education research groups across Europe. We know they are there. We know that there are more than 300 PhD students in informatics education across Europe, but it's a very scattered community, and we want to have a better picture of where those people are, how they are organized. so we can build a community around informatics education research. And finally, to build a sustainable education working group with Informatics Europe members. So if any of you are interested in joining the working group on education, please reach out to us. We would really appreciate more volunteers to help us with this important agenda. This will end my presentation, and it's my privilege to introduce my colleague, Letizia Taccheri, who will talk about the diversity working group and the efforts of diversity in Informatics Europe. Thank you.
So I am the board member, and my activity is to work for gender diversity and like diversity in general. This is an initiative that was started 10 years ago by Christina, Linda, and then Janet and Erika. And yeah, we are like a team. It's not that we have just gone one after the other. So as you have seen, Linda is here. Erika will be here from tomorrow. So we work together. Yes. So you have, all of you have seen this booklet that we have done from before. I entered the team when the booklet was in its final stage. We have the Minerva Award that you have seen today, what it's about. The first wild workshop was in Göteborg in 2018. It was quite short, and we were like not prepared. We had a small room, and we should start this workshop, and then many people were interested. And then in 2019 in Rome we had the full day, and we started to work more. To think more big. We understood that we had the tools to do something big. It was in 2019 that Christine and I and the team, we started to write this cost action EU gain that started then in 2020, and we have been working 1 year. Tomorrow we will have our first physical meeting with all the with 40 people traveling from many places in Europe, and even one of our observers from Bangladesh will join us tomorrow. And at the same time, we have decided in the board of Informatics Europe that working with gender, yes, it's important, but it's not enough. We have to work with diversity in general. So the wire will be reactivated, but it will not. Yes. So the wire will be reactivated, but it will not be called a wire, because it will not be only about women. It will be about diversity, and we will not call it dire, because Dick told that dire means something else that we don't want to use. But we will launch a diversity working group. So all of you who are interested in working with diversity should approach me, Enrico, Nuria, and give your availability. It will be a cooperation with UGAIN. It will be a cooperation with all of us, but we wish to open up from women to diversity in general. Now we are connectando, so if you have any questions about the EU gain or about the diversity work, you can just ask from the room, since we are connectando. And I really hope that many of you want to join us tomorrow for the EU gain workshop. We have been working a lot with the core group, with Vineke, with Nuria. We are really invested a lot of time, a lot of heart in the organization of the workshop tomorrow. So I really hope that many of you who are not directly in the EU gain want to join us.
Well, Leticia forgot to introduce me, but well, I'm going to introduce myself. So I'm Ismael García Barea. I'm in chair of the working group of data analysis and reporting. And well, here in this working group, we deal with the data portal that already commented INGENIERIA previously. With, we have there all the information about the higher education in informatics in Europe. We have data, or we have recruited data from more than 10 years till now, and about more than, I think it's from 23 or 24 countries, different countries, that have around 1.5 thousand higher education institutions. So the information in that, I invite you, everybody, to visit the data portal, because this is a very nice presentation of the information and all the data. And also all the raw data collected is available for all the members. So you can download this raw data just if you want to use it for your use. So this information which is here is, well, it's a list of institutions where are awarding degrees, bachelor and master degrees in informatics along Europe. And also we have some statistics about the student enrollments and degrees, gender information, academic titles, salaries, and so on. Well, the plan for from now to the end of the year and for the next year is to update the information from the last years, to update the information, to keep the information updated in the portal. Also, it would be nice to improve the data, to include in some large countries in Europe, like Russia, Sweden, Hungary, or all the Balkan countries, and also include information about academic positions and salaries for the Nordic countries. Also, we have in mind to include also to try to recruit information from the kind of regulation of the we just will discuss with colleagues today. It would be nice to collect also information of how the profession of computer scientists, of all related professions, are regulated in the different states. So now we are running also some study from this data. So we are writing some documents and reports. And we also plan to publish a paper just showing the information stored in the data portal, and also including some analysis or comparison between different research institutions and research universities and universities of applied science as a use case from this data. Then we also ask for all the members to contribute to improve this information, this data. So sometimes we will ask you for providing you more information. And the way you can help us is if you are a country which is actually included in the data. So it would be nice to send us any update for the data stored. And also, if you are not a country, in case your country is not yet featured in our data portal, so it will be helpful for us to find and interpret the data from your country, also to put us in contact with the person which is can provide us these statistics and all this information. And well, that's all from my part, and a pleasure for me to introduce you Jean-Marc Jezequel, which is in chair of the working group of policy recommendation.
Thank you very much, Ismael. So I'm again Jean-Marc Jezequel. So, sorry. So the working group on policy recommendation, the idea here is to contribute to the public debate at European level on everything that is related to informatics, on any possible topic, by producing some policy document on issues that relate to the goal of the organization and to empower members in developing their own strategy. And the underlying idea is that it's easier to answer or to prepare this policy recommendation if we are working as a team and not just alone guy in some remote place. And the legitimate parties for answering and for preparing the answers to that are the national organizations that do already exist in many countries across Europe. And so the idea of this working group is to try to have this informal network of representatives from these national organizations to work together in trying to reach a consensus on how to write this policy recommendation or to answer to public consultation from the European Commission. And of course, we would like to have all of the national organizations that are already members of Informatics Europe to designate a volunteer to be part of this working group. And for any specific work, everybody would still be completely free to participate or not to participate. And then after the coordination takes place, then of course every national organization is free to answer in its own way or to rely on the background material that we are going to produce collectively. Anyway, from the side of Informatics Europe, everything that we are going to produce is going to be available on our website. And with that, by teaming up with the national organization, we want to have more weight to at European level for influencing what's going on, from doing some lobbying on what we believe is important all across informatics. Okay, so one of the examples of what we did is to answer the public consultation on European digital principles, and we did that with a number of representatives from countries such as Germany, Spain, France, and Italy. And of course, we would be more than happy to have more people from other countries joining us in that kind of effort. And so we want to have this formalized working group as a kind of permanent working group inside of Informatics Europe for coordinating and for raising interest on that kind of subjects. So if you're part of a national organization, please convey the message that you are more than welcome to participate to this working group. Okay, so for the service, I will introduce Elisabetta Di Nito.
So I'm going to present you other services that we offer as association. So the goals of these services are essentially to give more power to the association and to the members, in particular of the association, by performing a number of actions that have to do with dissemination of best practices that concern the various areas that you have been that we have been presenting in the previous part. Of course, boosting also visibility of specific achievements by the members, also fostering networking, knowledge exchange. For instance, ECSS is our main tool, but not the only tool to achieve this goal. And also support specific training in areas that are not necessarily covered by our departments. For instance, you will see that we have a specific initiative concerning training on leadership, no? And we are also thinking of other similar initiatives. So here we have just, let's say, an unclassified list of of examples of this type of services that we offer. In particular, we have this leadership course I mentioned before. We are replicating this course into multiple editions because we have noticed that there is interest in the community to have this kind of course, and that is very helpful to support especially PhD students, but also young researchers who are starting their career. We have also an initiative that is that we can consider as a long-term initiative that is now gaining some momentum, which is the department evaluation. We defined already, at least 5-6 years ago, a procedure for assessing departments from the viewpoint of quality of research. And we are now starting to do our first evaluation. And of course, we will be more than happy to do other kinds of evaluations. This kind of evaluation is accomplished thanks to the professional participation of our members. So the idea is that Informatics Europe acts as a coordination institution that acquire create groups, let's say, of experts that can then go and support this department evaluation. We have started some webinar series. Now that we have learned how to handle online seminars, we realized that this is actually a good way to convey knowledge to our community, and so we have started a scientific track of webinars, a set of webinars related to the leadership part, more devoted to early researchers, early stage researchers. We are also going to start a set of webinars related to diversity. And so if you have any idea, for instance, for a new series of webinars that could be of interest of the community, you are more than welcome to contact us and to let us know. If you are interested in giving a webinar in one of these series that we already have or that we are starting, of course, you are more than welcome to contact us. We have also a platform for job advertisement. Yesterday in the PhD workshop, there was some of the students saying that they would benefit from having a place where they could find information about offerings and, let's say, supported by concrete information about the kind of help that the person can get, etc., etc. So the job platform is probably an initial step toward this idea. As I mentioned before, we have this training specifically devoted to early researchers, and we are starting to create new initiatives for young people. We realize that it is very important for the departments to ensure that they can grow up, let's say, in academic terms, also from the perspective of soft skills. And this is the aspects that we want to cover with a number of initiatives. We are also thinking at building a PhD community. And we are, in this edition of ECSS, we have had our first workshop devoted to early stage researchers. Of course, ECSS is an important element for us in terms of networking and knowledge exchange tool, let's say. And this year we have had 175 participants, considering all sub-events that compose ECSS. So now I'm going back to social impact. I am in charge of this specific high-level activity. And a big part of social impact activity is focusing on ethics, and my colleague Viola Schiaffonati is going to talk about this specific part. So let me just provide an overview of the social impact, general high-level activity. This high-level activity is involved in a way or another in several other activities that you have heard about in the previous presentations. For instance, we have been working together with the policy recommendations wherever there was a possibility to define some policy related to some social aspect. We are participating into the initiative that is called Digital Humanism, that has been promoted by one of our board members from Technical University of Vienna, and the focus there is to keep an eye on shaping technologies in accordance with human values and needs. We are participating also into this Ethics for EU project. My colleague Viola is going to present in a minute, which is an Erasmus Plus project that is focusing on understanding how we can teach ethics in our computer science curricula. So I leave the stage to Viola, and I wanted just to mention the fact that Viola is an example of a volunteer who is not part of the board of Informatics Europe, but is offering her time to support this specific activity related to ethics, given her expertise. She is a philosopher who is working in a computer science department, in particular in the department where I am working as well, but I am a technical person, let's say. I am an informatic engineer, while she is gets a completely different perspective. So Viola, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I hope you can hear me. If you go to the next slide, I can present with a little bit more details the Ethics for EU project. Okay, thank you very much. So this project, it's Erasmus Plus project that has the goal to map and promote the teaching of computer ethics in the computer science departments across Europe. And Informatics Europe in particular participated to two parts of the project. The first part is the writing of two reports. And the first one was this report on the European values for ethics in digital technologies. So this was just a report addressing the whole frameworks of the European values in teaching computer ethics. And the second report is a report of mapping the existing competencies in the teaching of ethics in computer science faculties in Europe. But Informatics Europe also participated in something that is, let's say, the core of the project. The design of these teaching bricks. So these are bricks of knowledge, I would say. Existing and reusable and adaptable resources to teach computer ethics to computer science and engineering students. So you can find here the link to these bricks. And these are of course, at disposal for everybody who wants to use them in courses, but also wants to evaluate them. Because in particular, within Informatics Europe, we had a working group that focus in particular in evaluating and assessing and experimenting these bricks. But the project is still open, so I invite everybody interested in having a look to these bricks and also providing us with possible feedbacks about these bricks. So next slide, please. Okay, so, and then related to these activities, Informatics Europe organized and participated to the following events. We organize a day on a workshop on dealing with the complexities of teaching ethics to future computer science professionals. This was in April. Here again, the link, you can have all the details. And then also we participated in another workshop with similar topics and content. These are important workshops because besides presentations, usually we have huge moments of discussion and sharing the different experiences. And this is, I would say, the most valuable part of this workshop. And then also we had the first publication on the International Journal of Ethics Education about some preliminary results of the project. So next slide, please. The second initiative in which Informatics Europe is involved is a more recent one, but is the expert group set up by the European Commission on writing guidelines for using artificial intelligence and data in education and training. This is an initiative that started in April. Informatics Europe submitted a candidate. I am the candidate, and Informatics Europe was selected to be part of these groups of 25 experts. So I'm the representative for Informatics Europe. We had a first meeting in July, and then next slide, please, and a second formal meeting last week. In the meantime, we had some informal meetings to do some preparatory work before the meetings on specific issues, like reading papers and literature and writing documents. But it's very important that we launch a questionnaire to Informatics Europe member, asking some questions, because it's very important to collect your opinion about this important topic, and also to collect the availability of people from Informatics Europe to be part of a working group more involved in this setting, these guidelines. So if you haven't had the chance to provide your availability to be part, and of course, if you are interested in being part of this working group, just please contact me and I will include in this working group. This is, I think, it's a very important initiative. It's an initiative in which as European citizens, but also experts in some way, we can have a voice in deciding about some important policy issues, and in particular in the involvement of artificial intelligence and data in education meant at large. So if you are interested in being part of this working group as Informatics Europe member, you can still contact me. So I'm done. Thank you very much. But of course, I'm available later on for questions.
Thank you, Viola.
Okay, thanks. Just one small remarks, actually two small remarks. One is that you have seen we have an Informatics Europe representative in this expert group at the European level. So we have one means of affecting European policy in this area. This has not happened at once. I mean, we tried a couple of other times. We have been in contact with people in the European Commission for some years. In the end, this succeeded because, I mean, you don't get an expert there just because you apply. I mean, you have to establish a network of relations. This requires time. This is one more key example of why we need your work, because the more we are, the more we can do things like this, and it requires time. I mean, so do not be impatient to ask us what you have done, because what we can do requires, in some cases, some years. The second remark is the European project that Viola has presented. which is a project where we mainly act as a networking partner, allowing a project that is focusing on some subject to access the wide European community. So if you are considering preparing a project like this, where it is important for the nature of the call or the nature of the project to access the network of informatics European community, please consider that Informatics Europe can be a partner of the project exactly for this purpose, to do the network, to be a networking partner. Okay, so the final part is what we need. And again, once again, we need you. We need your active participation. We need your following, your spreading the word about us. You are here, you have seen what we are doing, what we can do. Please, when you go back in your department, speak to your colleagues, try to involve other colleagues beyond you to be part of our activity. Many of the colleagues have presented their activity and have said that there is a working group. So we are launching a number of permanent working groups that are open to participation from people that are members of Informatics Europe. So the participation in a working group, the education working group or the social responsibility working group or the diversity working group is a way for you to contributing to activity to help us in making our community stronger. So please have a look at what we do and speak with your colleagues about being actively involved in this kind of issue. And if no one of our current activities interests you and you have some other topic that is dear to you, please propose to launch a new working group, and under the assumption that if you propose something, then you will be leading it, because it's not enough that you suggest us idea. We want people to implement things. So please do not just tell, it would be nice to do something like this, but please tell us, I would like to do something like this. I'm available to do this. So as it is written there, share with us your interest, ideas, and work. This is the most important issue. So, questions and suggestions. The floor is open, and while you think to what you could ask, I would like to ask the office to circulate the registry for recording the attendance to the assembly by our members, because after this session we will have the formal assembly that we do once a year to approve a number of things. And for the assembly, we need to take a record of the people attending, representing their members. So I don't know who from the office has the registry. So please have it circulated. And in the meantime, is there any question or? Yeah, I think it's that one, Letizia, thanks. Yeah, okay. So yeah, please let's circulate among the members, and anyone who is an official representative of their department, please sign it in the proper boxes, okay? This is a formal thing we need to do, and we tried to do electronically, but I mean, doing in the good way with paper and pen is still the best way.
In the beginning, it was, you say, this association for public and private, or private members, but something like that. But I see it's more academic profile, it looks like that. So my question is that, which I like, by the way.
Yeah.
It's really like a great association here. But have you thought increase or to enlarge the association towards industry also, or not specifically?
Okay, we started as academic associations. Actually, this making it explicit public and private if I remember right, in the bylaws is not explicit in the sense that we simply say academic institutions, and whether they are public or private, in some sense, it's not interesting to us. But we started historically focusing more on the academic partnership. But now we have started focusing more on involving also industry, because I mean, as we have been saying, you cannot really do research in informatics without having contact with industry. And in many cases, the problems we are facing are also shared by industry. For example, I mean, the preparation of the workforce for the digital transformation, how to prepare people working in industry to be aware of the social impact of their of what they do as a job, and how to train people on the frontier of research. So in many cases, there are some common problems. Of course, there is a difference of interest because industry is a shorter focus than we as university. We plan for the future for our children. They plan for the next business plan of the next 2 or 3 years. But still, I mean, we can find a way of cooperating. So again, if you have good contact with industry in your country, I mean, please consider also bringing them as a member. As an association, we are also open to industry, and they do not have to be IT, information technology industries. They have to, the big tech, okay. They have to be any industry that is actually making active use of informatics, like any industry is doing like this now. Okay. Okay, so if there is no more question, we can start. Oh, yeah, we have to present the next ECSS, okay. So sorry, I was forgetting, but the office reminds me and support me. So now we present where we will have the next ECSS, and I invite Norbert Ritter from Hamburg University. That's correct, okay. And that will be hosting ECSS for the 2022. So the floor is yours.
Okay, can you hear me? Thank you very much, Enrico, and good afternoon, everybody. So I'm just here. My task is to run quickly through the picture and to announce the next ECSS. And I'm pleased and honored that I'm the one who may do that today. So, as you know, every year and always, ECSS is taking place in the most beautiful city of the world. So for next October, Hamburg has been chosen to be the most beautiful city of the world. So I can announce today that the ECSS 2022 will be held at the University of Hamburg in the city of Hamburg from 24th to 26th October 2022. So I will be happy to serve as one of the chairs of this event, and we will do that, of course, in cooperation and for Informatics Europe. But there are 2 more institutions involved. One is the Fakultätentag Informatik, which is the German Association of Informatics Departments at universities, and which I am the chairman of. And the second is the Association of Informatics in Germany, Gesellschaft für Informatik. So I want to see you there. Please show up there. I invite you to come to Hamburg next October. And please tell your colleagues to also attend, and I will be very happy to welcome you in Hamburg next October. And to give you some first impressions of the city of Hamburg and the University of Hamburg, we have a little image film which I want to show you now. So Hamburg is certainly worth a trip, and the ECSS as well. As you know, see you there. Thank you.